finally we end, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in name, the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the
Hey, folks, how's it going? Welcome to the program. By the way, you might want to get a pen and paper for this broadcast. This thing's going to rock and roll fast. I'm going to come at you with a lot of information because the system's at it again, and I want you to be aware of all of the crap they're pulling. By the way, today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco, my partners at Goldco. Look, I just want you to go to jovanlovesgold.com. That's it. Fill out the information and get your gold and silver kit. It's absolutely free. Just teach you how to get into gold and silver. By the way, folks, if you'd have listened to me when I first started telling you this, the difference between then and you didn't click is, well, gold was at $1,500 an ounce. And what is it, 26 right now? Come on, folks. I'm trying to get you ahead of the curve. And the rat bastard system's against us. Please go over to jovanlovesgold.com from the fine folks at Goldco and learn how to get into precious metals and why it's important, why it's so critically important. And oh, by the way, you might actually get up to $10,000 in free silver. Yep, just go to instantsilver.com/Jovan. Put in your retirement value that you think you have there, and look how much silver you will get. Okay, this is going to be a fast program because I have so much to show you. One little bit of housekeeping first. Okay, now you know that I put out the Food Forest Bible. This is the hardbound book. Super, I mean, you're talking super high def color book. Very expensive. In fact, if you just went to a Kinko's and tried to color copy this thing, it'd cost you about $750 to $1,000. This is the hardbound mega book. Now, let me tell you why I'm doing this. I got my heart broke. The other day when somebody in chat said, all right, I finally got your Food Forest Bible. But mine didn't have any pictures in it. Look, folks, when you go to Amazon, by the way, I want to let you know, Amazon bought the full color hardbound publishing company. They're now the best at doing full color hardbound publishing, right? This is a mega book, folks. Ebook, softbound, but it's designed to go with you out in the garden so you know what you're looking at, so you can look at everything, so you can understand how to identify, etc. It's designed to be with you outside. And it's a whole planning guide in there as well. Let me see if I can find it in here where you can plan out your food forest, right? And also look at designs that other people over time had done so you understand what you're doing. That's what this is. It's a textbook. But it pains me to say, some of y'all have been fooled. I want to tell you real quick about what's called the gray market. Now, on the left, you are seeing the original, the first, the most complete, the real deal. So the original authentic Food Forest Bible. You see my name on the front. Unfortunate things about books is you can't protect titles. Titles are titles. There are multiple other Food Forest Bibles. They'll use my copy. They'll use my keywords. And even look at the designs. You're looking at them on the right. See what they do? And so they know that this book is a runaway bestseller. They know it's the #1 bestseller. They even copy, this book will feed your spirit. This book will feed your soul. I mean, it's pretty hilarious what they do. But what they're doing is they're kind of ripping you off, making you think you're getting the authentic one. And somebody says, well, there's no pictures in here. And it's because you didn't get my book. Isn't that like even how our political system works? Here's something real quick, a headline. Oh, that's it. And you jump to it. And it's not even the real deal. This breaks my heart that people have to go through this. They deceived you. Personally, you should return the book, especially if you're thinking you're getting what we've been talking about all this time, and you're looking for all the detailed pictures of everything in it and how you identified anything. You get some book that's, one's got a girl and she wants to promote the all vegan lifestyle, right? One, it's 7 books in one. Please don't be fooled. And I apologize that happened to you guys, right? I'm very sorry that happened, but thank you all who made this the bestseller that it is. Make sure you see my name there. My heart aches for you guys. My heart aches for you guys. And then you have some people, I'm seeing ads now, they'll take my book and they're doing the hard copy and then they're posting it, trying to sell it for $300, which is really weird too. And it's because it's such a hit. It's because it's such needed. And it's because it's the runaway #1 bestseller. Please, 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 just make sure you get the right one. Okay, we're going to talk about the crap, right? We're going to talk about the crap going on. And by the way, I saw this meme and I loved it. My grandfather used to say that once in your life, you need a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, and a preacher. But every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. And boy, isn't that the truth? Well, our system's doing it to us again. We spent all these years together, like all my work in the full forensic audit in Arizona, teaching you, right? Teaching you how to understand where the bad voters that are taking over our country, that are stealing our money. Isn't it funny? That's exactly what these people with gray market books are doing. And by the way, thank you for leaving your reviews on Amazon. Although I did, the one of the ladies that wrote the gray market book left me a 1-star on my book. Isn't that nice? Anyway, we've been doing this for years, digging into how do we save our country? How do I save ourselves? Forensic investigation, the whole bit. And we've been through it. We survived 2020. We're not in the clear, just like I told you about the elections. We're not in the clear just because Donald Trump got in. Nothing's changing, folks, right? Nothing. Because come the midterms, we're going to have some serious troubles. And so I want to talk to you right now. I'm going to show you the writing on the wall. I'm going to show you in advance, just like I told you in December 2020. Do not go to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I've always kept you ahead of the curve, always. And we've got to talk about what's going on now, because danger is headed our way in a very, very serious way. And I need you prepared. Share this program right now. Share it. Lift a finger. Share it. Let's get started right after this.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.
Would you ever eat government vaccines? Feed your family hormones or antibiotics? Never ever do that to your family. So, why buy beef the same way you've always bought beef? You're buying meat glue bonded, hormone-filled, antibiotic-riddled grocery store meat. Say no to supermarket medicated Franken meats and say hello to NeverEverBeef.club. Always 100% USDA prime or high choice. That's restaurant grade. Never Ever is not ever just select beef or even standard or ungraded store-branded meat. It's simply the very best cut and tasting steak you have ever had. We have never ever given our herd hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never ever. Pure blood genetics. We've raised our herds this way for over 30 generations. They simply have never ever had antibiotics, hormones, or killer vaccines. Grass-fed the way nature intended, in almost 500,000 acres of high pasture environments. Finished off with non-modified feed crops we grow ourselves. We even own our own 210,000 square foot processing plant. And as an added bonus for our Never Ever Beef.Club members, we age our steaks in our state-of-the-art 780,000 cubic foot aging facility. Only top restaurants do that, so they can charge you $100 or more for a little bitty steak. We age our meat because we want you to have the very best restaurant quality USDA prime or high choice, pure blood, purebred beef at a price your family can afford in these financially challenging times. Sure, you can keep paying the price for supermarket cheap, standard, and ungraded store meat brands if you love feeding your family Frankenmeat. So never ever settle for less. Join our Never Ever Beef.Club. Take control of your health and your family food supply right now. Join Never Ever Beef.Club. We are real people with real families just like you. So we personally customize your order right over the phone. Now that's customer service. And there is absolutely no obligation when we call. You decide what bundle is best for your needs. No hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never had them and never ever will. Never ever cut corners on your food supply or family's health. Join NeverEverBeef.Club now.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the program. We're going to be talking about some crap, culture, race, and American politics. Yeah, and our politicians are doing it to us again. Now, shame on us, right? If we don't learn from the crap they do to us. Think about yourself. 2020 and the pandemic and all that crap, you learned more than you could ever imagine about our system, how it's broke when it comes to voting, what a good ballot is, what a fake ballot is, et cetera, et cetera. You are prime stock, baby. The system's doing it to us again. And I got to tell you, I think it's going to be more relentless. Think about how many people around you right now are sick. Weird type of flu. Symptoms worse. You got to understand, folks, we are at war. We are at war, right? And by the way, just for y'all folks, I just saw somebody say it in chat, and it's true. One of the things I do to stay ahead of it is take oil of oregano, which is like putting an antibiotic right in your system. It's powerful stuff. Works well. I'm very big on the natural side of it. But folks, our government is against the people. Now, I want to show you what caused me to do this special episode. Okay, let me find the video here. Right here. I showed you this the other day. Brand new story. And I go, wait a minute. Am I not paying attention enough?
Tonight of the first human bird flu death here in the U.S. and what we're learning about the patient who has died. Here's ABC.
Okay, human has died. We're going to unpack this. Don't leave. You've got to see this because even I was appalled. I'm going to tell you, in doing this broadcast, you know, when you see me look around, I've got 12 screens in front of me, all around me. Kind of think like CSI and the forensics room and all the screens. And even loading up everything into our systems, the images, the videos, or whatever, we had to pull some back from the servers because there was just too much to show you. And I'm only showing you what's going on right now, just within these few months window. Listen to these words. Listen to what they've tied it to. Listen to what's coming.
Tonight of the first human bird flu death here in the U.S. and what we're learning about the patient who has died. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, health officials reporting the first death from bird flu in the U.S. The patient, who was over 65 with underlying health conditions, had been hospitalized in Louisiana since mid-December after being exposed to the virus through a flock of birds in a backyard.
The risk is still very low. Remember, this is from someone who has had direct contact with backyard flocks, so direct connection to wildlife in a way that most people don't have.
The CDC analyzed the virus in that Louisiana patient and found concerning new mutations which could help the virus infect people more easily. But so far, there has been no evidence of human-to-human spread.
We are not seeing person-to-person transmission. That change would indicate a real problem, and we're not seeing that yet.
Health officials urging the public to avoid consuming unpasteurized dairy products. The FDA now testing aged cheese made with raw cow's milk. And David, tonight, public health officials are also warning not to feed your pets raw food after at least one cat in Oregon died from the virus. David?
We're going to watch this very closely. Ariel, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to play it one more time because I want you to keyword in it. This is the basis because I'm looking going, wow, this is on the evening news. They made sure they told you it was backyard birds. That means your chickens. That means your friends that you buy fresh eggs from. Bird flu. And then they told you it's in eggs and milk. Pay attention.
Tonight of the first human bird flu death here in the U.S. and what we're learning about the patient who has died. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, health officials reporting the first death from bird flu in the U.S. The patient, who was over 65 with underlying health conditions, had been hospitalized in Louisiana since mid-December after being exposed to the virus through a flock of birds in a backyard.
The risk is still very low. Remember, this is from someone who has had direct contact with backyard flocks, so direct connection to wildlife in a way that most people don't have.
The CDC analyzed the virus in that Louisiana patient and found concerning new mutations which could help the virus infect people more easily. But so far, there has been no evidence of human-to-human spread.
We are not seeing person-to-person transmission. That change would indicate a real problem, and we're not seeing that yet.
Health officials urging the public to avoid consuming unpasteurized dairy products. The FDA now testing aged cheese made with raw cow's milk. And David, tonight, public health officials are also warning not to feed your pets raw food after at least one cat in Oregon died from the virus. David?
We're going to watch this very closely. Ariel, thank you.
I know, by the way, some of you told me in chat that the nevereverbeef.club, try it without the HTTPS. But anyway, the moment we ran that, server's under attack. We'll get it fixed. If you have a problem, you send me a direct email. Now, raw milk, eggs, etc. Now, I'm already seeing in chat that people are saying, oh, I saw some big CEO, whatever. They're saying it's a hoax. They're saying it's bad. That's good. That's bad. Not because I am worried about you catching it. You got to understand what's really being done. See, you're saying I should not be worried about it because it's fake. Okay, you're right. Now I'm going to show you what it's about. I want you to pay attention to something real quick because it's not about bird flu per se. See if you can watch this video and tell me what it's really about.
How many animals humans eat every year?
You probably didn't know that 800,000 camels are eaten a year. Camel meat. I watched a butchering of a camel. It was rather interesting, right? It's supposed to be good. I've never had camel. In many ways, I've never had camel toes or otherwise.
How many animals humans eat every year?
Yeah, you saw dogs on there. Pay attention. Watch the charts. Watch what you're eating, right? And I know, look, no offense. Some people say camel toes are the best eating. Okay.
How many animals humans eat every year?
I'm going to play that again, but I want you to understand you're going to get that damn vaccine whether you like it or not. Yes, there were dogs and cats on there. Watch it one more time. This is about chicken, period. The mighty chicken. And they want to fuck the clock. It's true. I'm going to show you why. Don't think this is just about control. It's much more sinister. Wait till you see everything unpacked. Here's the numbers again.
How many animals humans eat every year?
Okay, so I want you to understand that it's hard. It's about food supply, and I'm gonna prove it to you. And by the way, some of you were saying pigeons. Yeah, capons. Pigeons are great eating. So is guinea pigs. It's actually technically the cavi version of a guinea pig. But people eat a lot of things. But if that's the top of the pyramid, that's where all the control is. That's what everybody eating. And at this time, they want to control everything you eat. You got to understand. Now, I'm showing you something different. Don't beg off. Don't beg off. Well, I'm not going to get a vaccine. You are. And it's coming. I'm begging you, please pay attention. I'm begging you, please pay attention. Now, let's take a true look. Let's take a true look. Who's spam? Oh, me. Let's take a true look at what the American diet has transmorphed. And yeah, it's probably that ugly trans crap too.
Here's what I ate in a day on the petroleum diet, starting off the morning with some Lucky Charms for the classics, the red 40, the yellow 5, the yellow 6, the blue 1, getting a nice petrochemical dose first thing in the morning. Then I'm off to Starbucks to get my morning brew, a boiling cup of coffee in plastic cap to release some of that polyethylene, billions of microplastics and nanoplastics. Then I'm off to McDonald's for lunch, a lot of Cedos in the bun, in the fries, hoping to get some of that good hexane residue from the extraction process. I gotta get my daily aspartame dose, it's synthesized with methanol, I can't skip that. And in the french fries I know I'm getting dimethyl polysoloxane. For a midday snack we're stopping at the 7-Eleven, we're grabbing a Monster energy drink for the benzoic acid made from toluene, and I'm grabbing a Reese's cup for that TBHQ preservative made from butane. These are key for my petrochemical diversity. For dinner, a frozen pizza, I'm going for that glyphosate. It's not directly a petroleum derivative, but hey, I'm getting the most famous herbicide in the world. And of course gotta eat it with a Chick-fil-A sauce for the EDTA, a preservative made from ethylene diamine, formaldehyde, sodium cyanide, all derived from petroleum. And for dessert before sleep, I can't forget about my polysorbate 80, just to help take the edge off while I watch some of my favorite videos. If you're eating this way, you are too maximizing your petrochemical intake. Send this to a friend who needs to see this.
Now, you think that that's a joke. It's not. Not at all. It is exactly what our system does to us, what our system has a vested interest in, and it's all about control. Like, why would you, right, get pears that were grown in Argentina but packed in Thailand? Think about it. You hate seeing it, but yet they're telling you that eggs and raw milk are bad. But did you know that you could get Mrs. Butterworth's epic pancakes with Fruity Pebbles syrup? And it's totally fine? Yeah. But here's what we're going to talk about. And I need you to pay attention because I'm probably going to show you your hometown, and it's about choking the chicken. What were you thinking? Yes, they're choking the chickens. This is how they test the chickens. And in the midst of this testing of chickens, right, a few things happen. Because if they, in fact, find one bird that they say is infected, they kill the entire flock. In case you didn't know this about me, my second largest, most significant patent portfolio is in diagnostic and immunology testing. Lateral flow chromatography, the test like your birth control, not your birth control test, but your pregnancy test, piss on the blue stick. Look them up. So I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't let it fool you. I'm just a nerd hiding out in a biker's body. But PCR testing can be grossly off. And that's part of the rig. Now, in this scare that's going on, I'm going to show you the push-pull. I hope you pay attention to everything, right? Here's part of the issue. In this scare with chickens, right? You're now finding that your dozen of eggs can be $13.39. By the way, it's going through the roof. Okay. You're now seeing in the stores that there's no, you're going to see it in chicken very soon. It's catching up. Egg shortage due to bird flu. Stock is limited. You're already seeing this stuff. You're already seeing this stuff. Now, these are all current headlines. Do you like the fact that now that more than 70% of California's dairy cow herds are infected with bird flu? I only gave you one story. Human died, transferred, oh my God. More than 70% of California's dairy cow herds are infected with bird flu. Now, you got two things here. You got what's called a push-pull. They're telling you it's factory farms, and they're telling you it's the birds in your backyard. Even though you know differently. It's like milk. You know that raw milk, which they're attacking, you watch what was going on in Pennsylvania, contains a wide variety of essential nutrients, fats, proteins, anti-inflammatory, and digestive enzymes, and bioavailable. That means you can use it, vitamins and mineral, all in a natural form, which is already easily utilized by the body. In addition, raw milk facilitates production of lactase enzyme in the intestinal tract, allowing many people who are lactose intolerant to digest raw milk with no problem. See, but there's an issue. Part of this push-pull, which I'm going to get into it, is what you don't know is they're going to get there anyway because they're putting it in the vaccines. You think I'm talking about you? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the animals. Let's go on this ride.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I drink raw milk. Did you know that the biggest salmonella outbreak was actually from pasteurized milk, not raw milk?
Do you remember when I gave you that lesson of raw milk and where they got this thing that they've got the pasteurized milk because raw milk will kill you? Do you remember when I gave you that deep lesson?
And it was really around the turn of the 20th century that raw milk kind of started getting looked at in an unfavorable light. They put a lot of dairies in cities next to distilleries, and basically they would be inside of a building being fed the spent grains from distilleries, and it made these cows extremely unhealthy. They would actually add chalk to the milk to make it look like milk because it was so watery, and these cows got tuberculosis and it spread like wildfire through these industrial dairies, and I mean just disease was rampant in these dairies, and then the pasteurization process came about, and it basically made this milk drinkable and without killing you, and that's kind of when there started to be a change in how people looked at milk. I mean, at that time there was still a lot of small farms out in the countryside that produced quality milk, but as more and more people moved to the city and fewer people raised cows on a small scale, basically the pasteurized milk became the norm for everybody, and I think we're still left with that legacy that the state inspectors and federal inspectors still want to think that raw milk is unsafe when it actually can be produced extremely safe. There's been no deaths from raw milk in the last 15 years, but if you look in the media headlines, you wouldn't think that. You would think it's the most dangerous food out there.
Come on.
But it can be done safe, and it is being done safe. And by the federal government's own estimates, 3% of the population drinks raw milk on a regular basis. So if it was such a dangerous food, I mean, we'd be seeing people sick left and right, and we just don't see it.
Okay, so there's a push to get rid of raw milk. I grew up on raw milk. Some of you might ask, what does raw milk taste like? You remember the first time that you stopped drinking your family's old Folgers coffee and you had a good cup of truly fresh ground coffee bean coffee, and it was like, holy smokes, I never knew. Or when you finally had a homegrown tomato versus that little sickly, pale, crunchy tomato that you get at the store now. Raw milk's the bomb. But remember, if you're drinking raw milk, chances are you got a cow. Now, I'm going to take you on a journey here because they're vaccinating all the animals. They're giving them vaccinating. You can use that word if you want. They're vaccinating all the animals. They're putting it in there. We're in trouble. The next headlines I'm going to show you are going to blow your minds. Everything I'm showing you is immediately current. They've already done it. They're already prepared. The same doctors and companies are involved. Yeah, wait till you see this. Quick pee-pee break. Don't run away.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.
By the way, just a public service announcement if you didn't see it. My book, The Food Forest Bible, is a #1 runaway bestseller. And all of a sudden, a gray market has popped up copying me. Some of you have ordered a book thinking it was mine. And there's no photos or anything in it. None of the here's how you do it naturally. It's all crap. Make sure my signature's on it, folks. Do not get caught with gray market goods. Now, I'm going to give you some of these rapid fires because they blend. Now, think about just one thing. I showed you the bird flu, but they're now specifically saying backyard chickens. I showed you that chickens are the most consumed thing there is. You know they're getting away. They want to end natural gas. They want to end propane. They want to end your gas stoves and your gas heating. Why? They want you on the grid, the connected grid. And the states have already started banning outside, like fire rings and campfires. It's all about controlling your ability to cook. I'm going to show you in a minute. You're about to be required to possibly register your chickens. That's why you have to understand this. They're going to get a massive amount of the population to take a new vaccine, which I'm going to show you, which Biden approved and funded while we were all sleeping. Just hang on, you'll see it. It's us that are not prepared. They have been well prepared at what they're doing. They now are saying bird flu has jumped to cows. Have you been watching it? Bird flu has jumped to cows. Current story. Almost 1 million chickens in Ohio test positive for bird flu. And they had to get rid of them all. This is immediately current. Bird flu detected in nearly 1 million chickens now in southwestern Ohio County. Oh, yeah, by the way, the tests are back. I just want you to hold on. Biden administration signs the contract for the mRNA bird flu vaccine. Hang on. Do not get too far ahead of me. You've got to understand how they do it. How about Texas? Largest U.S. fresh egg producer halts production at Texas plant after bird flu found in chickens. About 1.6 million laying hens, 337,000 pullets. That means they're not old enough to lay yet. Dead. Wiped out. Now you got to understand what's it called, matriculation of that. That's why you're saying these prices go this way, this way, this way. We're coming into a food crunch, one like we haven't seen. On the number one consumed source of protein ever, and that's chicken. And it's a push-pull. They're wiping them out. You got bird flu. Now you must mRNA vax your chickens. It's a double push. It's going on everywhere. Idaho. Bird flu is spreading rapidly among cows and chickens, raising concerns that it could merge with the regular flu and cause a pandemic. In Idaho, only 7 human tests have been conducted. Oh yeah, they're finding it in milk, they're finding it in eggs, etc. Hang on. Okay. Let's don't, if we can, please don't post other links. And the reason is because I don't have the ability to vet them before they're in the program, and I don't want to distract people. I want you to understand what's going on and how it's done. So please try to honor that in what we do. How about this? Montana. Bird flu detected in chicken flock east of Missoula. Now listen here. When I got home, there were quite a few more birds dying and dead. They were literally all over the yard. You get what's coming here? Hang on. I'm going to get rid of that link. Don't put links in my chat. I'm trying to save people's life. I'm trying to save your life. If you want to send me a link to vet, email it to me. If it's great and I should vet it, I'll do it. But that's how we do it. But Montana, folks. I know what you're asking. Well, did they poison the feed? Well, let's look at a few things. How about backyard birds in Tennessee? 60 confirmed cases, H5N1, avian flu, bird flu in the Tennessee Valley. Oh, yeah, it's kind of the bread and butter box of independent farmers and stuff. Yeah. Now let's think about this for a moment. Well, I get good chicken feed or whatever. So they're trying to convince you maybe it can come from chicken feed, or maybe it can come from them in your backyard running around because there's natural birds out there, right? Isn't it interesting it doesn't affect eagles or sparrows or crows? But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. Hang on. It's coming. Put in chat, what do your chickens eat out in the yard? Right? Bugs, etc. If you got a good yard, yeah, maybe they'll scratch in the soil, scratch in the leaves, find some worms, right? Yeah, well, wait. If they're out in the yard, they're free ranging, which is the raid, free ranging, getting grass, getting bugs. Oh my God, they're free ranging with wild birds. That's how they got it. You see what's coming? But my birds are natural. They eat worms. Well, they covered that too. I'm showing you everything. Now they're finding H1N5 in worms. Not their worms that they want to poop into steak for you, of course. But if you got chickens, it's coming. And they're building up this fear. The World Health Organization confirms Mexico man's death from bird flu strain never before seen in humans. Oh, I don't think it's only the country states. Delaware's got it too. 120,000 chickens. Got to get rid of them. Department of Agriculture. Yeah, it's in the worms. It's in the feed. It's in the air. Million chickens. Got to be eradicated. Oh my God, it must be bad. Oh my God, it's in chickens, it's in worms, it's in birds. Hang on, you haven't got to the punchline yet. They're going to get a certain amount of people. They're going to pay daily for a vax. Government's going to mandate it, but they're about to mandate all your cows, chickens, and birds. And by the way, I told you this 3 years ago. Go back to my program. I told you 3 years ago it was coming. Oh, don't forget your cats. Yeah. Cat food. Oh, they use bird parts and stuff in it. Oh my God. Your cats are going to get bird flu and die. Oh my God, now my cats and dogs. This is so scary. It's going to be around the world. That's right. That's why they found it in polar bears. Remember what I told you. This is all immediately recent news playing out right now while we're watching all the fear porn. And I told you three and a half years ago, I did a whole program, and I told you it was coming when the news was saying, oh, it's horseshit or whatever. It's coming. And they're in the fear and wipeout mode at the moment. They're going to get you both ways. And if you leave, you're going to not see how they do it both ways. But damn it, those lovable polar bears now have it. Weird, the seagulls don't, and they're birds, but the polar bears do, but they're so lovely and cuddly. Oh my God, it's everywhere. Like in Japan, they've had 19 outbreaks. They got lockdowns. They've killed millions of bear or billions of chicken in Japan. This is global, folks. This is global. Okay? You've got to understand this is global. And of course, while we were worried about elections and Antifa and terrorists and bombs, yep, they declared it, bird flu, an international pandemic. So it's here. Okay, now let's put a pin in that for a moment, because I've told you, they're telling you you're going to eat bugs and you're going to like it. Just like COVID wiped out a lot of small businesses and made people dependent on the system, we are now in, it's already here, we are now in pandemic 2.0. And you say, I don't give a crap about it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's real. It's okay. They got that covered. They know they're probably going to get 50% of America to take a vaccine. I'll show you that in a moment. The other 50%, they're going to get you anyway. And I'm going to show you exactly how they're going to get you, because it's all planned down to the T, and it all begins with fear porn.
37 states have banned one of the most healing foods for your children. Raw milk, raw dairy. This is one of the saddest realities that I've come across in my research and my learning. And I've met hundreds of parents and hundreds of kids from those parents who have benefited from including raw dairy and getting rid of pasteurized dead dairy and milk in their lives. I've heard of improvements in all sorts of things, from gut discomfort, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, inflammatory bowel diseases, skin conditions like eczema, sleep issues. In all of these cases, I've heard of parents having incredible stories of success with their children and children leading lives with significantly improved quality from including a food that is not able to be obtained, that is illegal in 37 states, in their diets. I so hope that this changes in the future, and I'm calling on those 37 states to wake up and to allow you to be able to get raw milk and raw dairy, because this food is healing for humans, and it absolutely will improve so many kids who continue to suffer today.
Okay, so let me tell you about, so you understand, this is called a push-pull. They already know that many of you are taking steps to do this. And I know you asked, is JFK on board with this raw milk? No, but it's already done. Let me explain how it works. So the customer they want back is the customer that says, screw you to the system. I'm not taking your drugs. I'm not taking your vaccines. I'm not following your system. So what they have to do is they have to villainize freedom. Backyard chickens, your own eggs, your own cattle, your own pork. See, they can't accept this movement of people taking care of themselves. And they got to deal with that quick, because they can't have that word of mouth going around. And so here's how it works. Do you think they're going to outlaw raw milk? Well, 37 states have, but there's also a loophole that can do it. But you know what they're doing? No, it's not about that. They'll go to the raw milk producer and say, okay, well, we'll let you do it. And they're going to sign an agreement. You know what that agreement is? But they've got to be vaccinated against this bird flu. Which means they're going to get it into the cows you trust through these third parties if the third parties want to stay in business. Did you catch what I just said? And I'm going to show you that. Some may think it's not. I'm going to show you this. Anyway.
You're probably not lactose intolerant. What you are intolerant to is dead, pasteurized milk. Once upon a time, raw milk was normal milk, until big dairy businesses teamed up to lobby that milk had to be pasteurized in order to be safe to drink, making raw milk illegal. This eliminated the competition of small farmers that couldn't afford this expensive equipment. If you drink natural raw milk, it has the enzyme lactase in it, which is broken down by heat pasteurization. Drink raw milk and you'll digest it fine.
Okay, so you understand what already happened in milk. They have the model, right? In case you didn't know, farmers had farms in milk. One of the first things they tackled with this formula long ago, because it's all about perfecting, is they brought cows into the city. I did a whole program on this. Go and watch it. But they put them in little bitty rooms, fed them the byproduct of the alcohol business, you know, the barley and stuff, poor nutrition, got horrible milk in nasty conditions. And that milk, which they would water and chalk, which they still do to this day, got people sick and got pasteurization. Well, all of a sudden, when pasteurization was mandated, the farmers couldn't do it. The farmers couldn't produce it. Okay? What they're doing is they're reaching back in history, and history is repeating itself. But now they know how to benefit from all ends. They don't know how to benefit from, okay, we'll let you do raw milk, but you're going to take this vaccine, to it's our stuff and we control it. Everything's about consolidation down. Everything's about control. Now, this pandemic 2.0 has already been released.
Governor Polis says the avian flu outbreak in Weld County is now an emergency. The governor making that declaration so state offices can assist in the...
Oh, yeah. This is Colorado. You're going to notice an interesting trend. In case you haven't seen it yet, you know, all the places that we have dim strongholds and rhino rat bastards that play games, and it's taking over in our elections through illegal stuff like Colorado, from red to purple to blue. Isn't it interesting? It happens all in the same places.
Governor Polis says the avian flu outbreak in Weld County is now an emergency. The governor making that declaration so state offices can assist in the response, recovery, and mitigation efforts. It also unlocks the funding and resources to help affected poultry facilities contain the outbreaks. This comes as a Colorado man actually recently tested positive with the virus. He has since fully recovered. Multiple cattle have also been affected.
Oh my goodness, not a human got it. Not a cow got it. That's Colorado. It's coming, baby.
400,000 chickens have been killed in Victoria to halt the spread of bird flu. But the deadly disease has now been detected at a second farm in the state's southwest. Madeline Sparks.
Oh, yeah, the same people that forced all the vaccines. You paying attention? The same governments that locked everybody down, mandated the vaccines you couldn't buy. How interesting is it that all the same patterns that did the COVID are now experiencing this?
400,000 chickens have been killed in Victoria to halt the spread of bird flu. But the deadly disease has now been detected at a second farm in the state's southwest. Madeline Sparks reports.
Well, this investigation is underway at a second poultry farm in Victoria. This one is in the state's west in a town called Terang. It is connected to another poultry farm where a bird flu outbreak was identified on Wednesday. That one is in Meredith, and that is where the H7N3 strain of bird flu was first located. We have been given a statement that says the two farms are connected by way of joint management, staff and machinery, and we do know that Agriculture Victoria has clamped down on both properties, restricting the movement of vehicles, equipment and so on, really to limit the spread of this outbreak. We know that at the first farm to have the outbreak, the one at Meredith, around 400,000 birds had to be destroyed as a result of this. So authorities really don't want this to spread any further. But as for the risk to humans, well, this is what experts have had to say.
It is very safe. There is no evidence that avian influenza viruses could be contracted if you are eating properly cooked chicken, meat or eggs.
The investigation is still ongoing.
Okay, so you see the fair point is global and it's kind of everywhere. I'm talking literally it's everywhere. Now, what this is doing from the economic standpoint, I saw a lady the other day, well, President Trump, you got elected, you said the food prices were going down, and that hasn't happened. Egg prices in California, $9 a dozen. Actually, they're going further. In one day, they jumped for where you were probably paying about 70 cents an egg to almost $1 an egg. But this won't affect me. Remember how they perfected everything? Chicken owners in the United Kingdom will now need to register with the government or risk a $5,000 fine. What'd I tell you? Every single place in lockstep with how they rolled this out. Now we're rolling this out. I'm not even done yet. You know, it's time to start the mass bird flu vaccination program. That started our year. All the science magazines in unison now. Time to start mass bird flu vaccination program. I showed you the numbers we consume. Oh yeah, our government gave Moderna, where we first got our COVID one, $176 million to jumpstart their mRNA bird flu vaccination. The money's been rolling out fast. While we were all looking at the crap they were doing in other places, rolling out fast. And they know mmany of you won't get near a needle. You know it. They know it. And so they're going to do it a completely different way. Hang tight. I'll be right back.
Would you ever eat government vaccines? Feed your family hormones or antibiotics? Never ever do that to your family. So why buy beef the same way you've always bought beef? You're buying meat glue bonded, hormone filled, antibiotic riddled grocery store meat. Say no to supermarket medicated Franken meats and say hello to nevereverbeef.club. Always 100% USDA prime or high choice. That's restaurant grade. Never Ever is not ever just select beef or even standard or ungraded store branded meat. It's simply the very best cut and tasting steak you have ever had. We have never ever given our herd hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never ever. Pure blood genetics. We've raised our herds this way for over 30 generations. They simply have never, ever had antibiotics, hormones, or killer vaccines. Grass-fed the way nature intended, in almost 500,000 acres of high pasture environments. Finished off with non-modified feed crops we grow ourselves. We even own our own 210,000 square foot processing plant. And as an added bonus for our nevereverbeef.club members, we age our steaks in our state-of-the-art 780,000 cubic foot aging facility. Only top restaurants do that, so they can charge you $100 or more for a little bitty steak. We age our meat because we want you to have the very best restaurant quality USDA prime or high choice, pure blood, purebred beef at a price your family can afford in these financially challenging times. Sure, you can keep paying the price for supermarket cheap, standard, and ungraded store meat brands if you love feeding your family Franken meat. So never ever settle for less. Join our nevereverbeef.club. Take control of your health and your family food supply right now. Join nevereverbeef.club. We are real people with real families just like you. So we personally customize your order right over the phone. Now that's customer service. And there is absolutely no obligation when we call. You decide what bundle is best for your needs. No hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never had them and never ever will. Never ever cut corners on your food supply or family's health. Join nevereverbeef.club now.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.
Okay, as we hop into each break, I'm just loading up more media assets for you to see. And I want to just, again, a public service announcement. My number one bestseller, The Food Forest Bible, is in fact a bona fide runaway bestseller, right? And I want to thank you guys for that, but I want to give you a warning because this happened the other day. I saw precious one of you, my family and friends here, saying, I got the Food Forest Bible, can't wait to see it, but mine came with no pictures. No, what happened is there is now a gray market copying, cloning my book, putting crap in it, just generic stuff. 7 books in one book in one. It's all trash. But they know, you know, and have heard about the runaway bestseller Food Forest Bible. So they've created their own Food Forest Bible, right? Please make sure you see my name on the front. Okay. So as we're watching this, it's eggs, it's in cows, it's in chickens, it's in this. Well, scientists right now are racing to develop the bird flu vaccine. And that was just a bit ago, but it's come. It's here. It's already here. Moderna, right, has begun not only their trials, which I'm going to show you, but they're planning for a pandemic. And by the way, the vaccines are ready. Health and Human Services, the numbers even changed from this, has already bought millions. And they've already been testing promotions for this. Like, you know, if you get the clot shot, you get free chicken McNuggets. Yes, you can't catch bird flu from that because there's no chicken in it. Yes, Moderna, where we got our clot shots from the very beginning, partnered with McDonald's to give you free chicken McNuggets for the very first people willing to take the bird flu shots. And by the way, look, our Never Ever Beef site's under an attack at the moment. Send me a direct email. People will put it in chat. Send me a direct email if you're having a hard time seeing it. The moment I talked about it, because you got to understand, we've controlled the herd now for 32 generations. They've never had any of this stuff. You could run down and buy your own cow and says, well, I'm going to have a cow in my backyard grass-fed, but the chances are they've already got the shot. We always knew this was coming. For 32 years, we've protected it. And you can get it. So let's talk about, okay, and it's the best beef ever. If you've never had truly, number one, they get raised with their mothers. They stay up in the pastures for a year and a half on mom's side, right? They're very well taken care of. Even if one needs antibiotics, when they get antibiotics, we immediately sell them out of the herd. It's the highest, most valuable genetic breed of beef. One bull, on average, will cost you $500,000. And yes, we do partnerships with people, but this is strictly pure line and controlled down to the grains that are also grown non-GMO, feeding them, and we have the plant that processes them right there on the land. Okay? But you hear Moderna, they've already been rolling out the vaccines. Now, you got to understand, this is not in Trump's bailiwick. This is in RFK's bailiwick, but they've already been planning for it. It's already on the way.
Let's dig into this statistics sheet about mRNA vaccines in live animals and why this is a concern not only as a consumer but as a producer as well. They took 525 hogs, injected them with a live mRNA vaccine, and in 21 days, these were the statistics. 25 of them suffered from death, 55 of them became so anorexic that they were near death, 20 of them suffered from lameness, 12 of them suffered from loss of condition, and 25 more of them had near-death symptoms. So we have 70% of these animals that are going to be okay to an extent, and then we have 30% of them that either have died or have near-death symptoms. They did autopsies on the ones that had passed away, and they still found remnants of the live virus vaccine inside the meat of these animals. So from a consumer standpoint, we have to worry about a live virus being inside of our meat that we're putting inside of our bodies. And as a producer standpoint, we have to worry about the health of our animals that can ultimately destroy us, destroy our herd, and destroy our business altogether. I'm interested to see what y'all think about this, so make sure you leave a...
You got to understand, we're now in the push-pull phase. They've been testing the fear porn for a long way. Okay? And if any of you can't get through to never ever, don't put www, never ever beef dot, not com, but club. If you can't get through, just send me an email. Don't worry about it. And we know we're under attack. They try to stop this. This is not something that Donald Trump can stop right now. It's not. It's already happened. They've already got it integrated. Same thing with the vaccines and everything else. I got a lot more to unpack for you. But they started testing this by watching, could they get farmers, home farmers, you got 6 laying hens or whatever. Could they get you to start being fearful of your chickens? And the test area for this was in Tennessee.
A strain of bird flu detected on a...
By the way, they did this in Tennessee to get right in that area of self-sustainability and stuff. Because if they can move people that were homesteading to, oh my God, be afraid of it, then they knew they could move the rest of the country.
A strain of bird flu detected on a Tennessee chicken farm used by Tyson Foods, the biggest chicken producer in the United States. The company saying on Sunday that it's working with state and federal officials to contain the virus, sorting through the more than 70,000 birds there and euthanizing some to stop the virus from entering the food system.
This particular virus that we've identified carries a high death rate or mortality rate in poultry, and it has little, if any, known risk to humans.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture saying the Tennessee discovery represents the first confirmed case of highly pathogenic H7 avian flu in commercial poultry in the U.S. this year, and it's the first time it's been found in that state. The last time this strain of bird flu was found in the U.S. was in a commercial turkey flock in Indiana in January of last year.
Okay, so that was what you saw a few years ago where they're testing it. And as they start working it, all of this is Obama stuff being worked in that they knew they were going to probably have the pandemic in 2020. It's all been working along. And by the way, almost every state has now been hit.
Well, millions of chickens are facing the chopping block after bird flu hits an Iowa farm. The farm in Sioux County has to kill about 4.2 million chickens. According to the Department of Agriculture, more than 92 million birds have been killed since the outbreak started. I
want you to understand something. They're talking about a commercial farm, but they're showing you backyard chickens.
Well, millions of chickens are facing the chopping block after bird flu hits an Iowa farm. The farm in Sioux County has to kill about 4.2 million chickens. According to the Department of Agriculture, more than 92 million birds have been killed since the outbreak started in 2022. Meantime, the CDC says it is now preparing for a possible increased risk to humans from bird flu, but stress there is still no evidence of person-to-person transmission in the U.S. On Friday, health officials announced the virus had been detected in beef tissue from a sick dairy cow, but say the meat did not enter the nation's food supply. The U.S. is taking steps to develop or acquire vaccines for at-risk farm workers.
We're really prepared to not only test the current vaccines that we have in the stockpile, but also to really develop specific vaccines. So I think we're in a very good place.
The U.S. is also reportedly in talks with Pfizer and Moderna about developing potential vaccines to reduce the threat of a pandemic.
Each piece of the jump that brought us COVID is being played out. It's in your eggs. It's in your milk. It's in your cows. It's in your chickens. It's in your hogs. It's a true panic. People are going to lose their jobs. Oh my God. Now, it's all happening in the same states where we have these election issues.
We're seeing about 2/3 of the impact of the avian flu right now that's happening in the United States here in Michigan. It will have a material effect on many communities,
including the company's workers themselves. Herb Brooks filed a notice with the state earlier this week that says it plans to lay off close to 400 of its employees at 5 of its farms, citing bird flu as the reason.
If you now have a situation where you're not generating revenue, you can't pay your workers, or there's no work for them to do. So you need to make those adjustments.
Those layoffs are considered temporary as poultry farmers rebuild their flocks. But in the end, close to a quarter of Michigan's billion-dollar egg industry is shutting down. And Professor of Economics Paul Isley says we will see the effect on tax revenues and people's incomes.
And because they have less money to spend, restaurants will have fewer customers. People will take take longer period of time.
And I've showed you, they're saying it's all birds, it's backyard birds, it's farm fresh eggs, it's in the milk, it's in the feed. Even the worms are infected that the chickens are eating at your house. This is all the fear porn they did with COVID, and it's here. Thank God it hasn't jumped to humans, though.
Concerning new CDC report on the first severe human case of bird flu in the U.S. Samples taken from a patient in Louisiana show...
What? Not jump to human. You understand this is a long play formula for even a horror movie. It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh, it did the worst all. It's a formula.
Concerning new CDC report on the first severe human case of bird flu in the U.S. Samples taken from a patient in Louisiana show mutations that could make it easier for this virus to spread from person to person. Now, right now, there's no evidence it's been passed along to anyone else, and the CDC says risk to the public remains low. But experts warn a single mutation like this could potentially lead to another pandemic.
The virus may mutate and become more easily transmitted person to person. So the more this virus circulates, and specifically co-circulates with human strains, that's going to increase the odds of the virus evolving to more human-to-human transmission. And that of course, could signal another pandemic.
Joining us now is Dr. Deborah Birx. You may remember her as the response coordinator for the White House Coronavirus Task Force in the first Trump administration. We are very fortunate to have your expertise as we try to figure out what's going on with the bird flu and what it could mean. So far, 65 human cases of bird flu have been reported in the U.S. this year, all contracted by animals. But now we have this new mutation in Louisiana. How worried should we be about bird flu potentially becoming another pandemic?
Well, I love the way you said 63 cases, because I have no idea how many cases there were or are, because our number one principle in preventing pandemics is detect. And if you go to the CDC website, you can see that they're monitoring more than 10,000 exposures, but they've only tested 530. What does that mean? That means we're not testing enough. And we know from other viruses that a lot of the spread can be asymptomatic. So we kind of have our head in the sand about how widespread this is from the zoonotic standpoint, from the animal to human standpoint. Now, also remember, most of those cases described to date happened in the spring and the summer, not when we had H1N1 circulating right now, when we're running the flu pandemic throughout the United States. So we have rising flu cases, and now we have still zoonotic events coming. So now you've set up for potentially a farm worker getting H5N1, also getting the current flu strain, and reassorting in that individual. To me, that's almost a bigger threat to these mutations happening in individuals over time.
When you say reassorting in that person, what does that mean?
Okay, so the H5 virus, which doesn't adapt too well to our upper respiratory tract and is preventing us from getting infected, but is infecting cows and pigs and cats and dogs. So our flu, which has the binding sites for us, for our nasal passages. Viruses are very specific, and so they're very animal or human specific. Now we have human flu circulating. At the same time, we have this zoonotic flu circulating.
Okay, so I have direct history with Birx. When very early on, as most of you know, I've done a program on it, don't have to go back a lot, but I'm trying to work with the White House to mitigate the pandemic by catching it as it came into the airports and stopping its ingress into the country. What was my number one barrier for getting it done and getting President Trump to act on it that way? Birx. I said on countless hours during the COVID coming, because it all could have been very easily handled, but no, they wanted to sell tests, then they wanted to sell vaccines. CDC was right in the middle of it. It was a con job. Yes, that's her. Surprisingly, since COVID, maybe she made a lot of money because she got a total rework, reconstruction, facelift, and everything else. Isn't it interesting? I wonder if there's a connection.
The HHS is to produce 4.8 million bird flu vaccines as 2 new human cases identified, but now 3. Meanwhile, the CDC urged health officials nationwide to ramp up flu surveillance. HHS is in talks with Pfizer and Moderna about developing mRNA bird flu vaccines. Or should we go straight on to the next one before we comment, which is, again, in the Defender, Moderna eyes tens of millions in taxpayer funding for mRNA bird flu vaccine. The US government is closing in on an agreement to find a late-stage trial of Moderna's mRNA bird flu vaccine. This is their words, not ours. The funding, which would be funneled through the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, or BARDA, is expected to total tens of millions of dollars. The government is also in talks with Pfizer, of course it is, about an mRNA avian flu shot as well. So do they think we've got sort of like a short memory or something? I mean...
Oh, absolutely. They think we do. And sadly, I think a lot of people do have a short memory. What's telling to me here, Polly, is that, first of all, Rick Bright, the former head of BARDA, owns lots of bird flu patents, so he stands to make a lot of money on this. Moderna's share price has gone up 37% since April. So obviously a lot of people in the pharma investor world believe that their mRNA 1018 is going to make a lot of money. And the US government is going to pay for a lot of it. Well, our taxpayer money is going to pay for a lot of it. They're starting to run the whole thing again, Polly. Obviously, this whole bird flu thing is already taking flight, so to speak. They're moving on this one. They're putting money behind it. They're making the vaccines. They're bringing in their pals, Pfizer and Moderna. This is moving forward, clearly moving forward.
100% the same playbook is being run. 100%. That's the person that was tracking in the UK. I tell you, always watch the weaker countries. In the UK, and it's just like, well, you can have your own insurance plan. Like Obama said, you can have your own health insurance. But if you don't, it's $2,000 fine. Get the rig, punitive. Well, you're watching there, kind of the merging of the UK, watching this. We're watching this stuff happen. In the UK, you now have to register your birds, or you can get a $5,000 fine. After the fine, if you still don't register, they can take your house, your home, your land, your farm. See the trend? So yes, the Biden administration has already done this, folks. The same 100% path of the last pandemic. That is why this is pandemic 2.0. The same people are involved. Down from the World Health or the World Economic Foundation, it's all the same. We're going through the same playbook over and over and over and over. It has been done. And these guys are already reaping huge stock gains right now. And it's all the same players.
Checkpin Medicine says it's created a human bird flu vaccine on the same platform as its COVID-19 vaccine. The experimental mRNA vaccine protected lab animals from severe illness and death for at least a year. In fact, all the vaccinated animals survived infections while all the unvaccinated ones died. H5N1 rarely infects humans, but there's been heightened concern amid a current outbreak circulating in birds and cattle in the U.S.
So I've shown you all of the fear porn. Interesting, though, it's not, we can't go to human, can't go to humans, right? They follow that formula because it works. Same people, here's the CEO of Moderna, way back when, telling you they already had the built up a year before the COVID pandemic announcement. What?
How it happened, obviously, with COVID-19 starting from 2022 and how...
Wait a minute, is it the WEF once again? Yeah, listen carefully to what he says. He has ready to go 1 year before we even knew about it.
How it happened, obviously, with COVID-19 starting from 2022 and how extraordinary the process was also in terms of the speed. How is development, adoption and scaling of vaccine going on when it comes to different variants and subvariants? Because this is one of the big concerns as we're all here now and we're discussing, we understand the context, and this is a great deal.
Sure. Good morning and thank you for having me on the panel. So the great news versus 2020, where we are today, is we have manufacturing capacity. As Seth knows, when the pandemic happened, Moderna had made 100,000 doses in 2019 for the whole year. And I remember walking after Davos into the office of my head of manufacturing, and I say, how will we make 1 billion doses next year? And you look at me a bit funny, say, what? I say, yeah, we need to make 1 billion doses next year. There's going to be a pandemic.
And I'm going to...
Do you understand yet? Now, I'm telling you. And by the way, he was not German, he was Swedish. I want to let you know, we are in trouble. Everything I have done is to try to keep you ahead of the curve. Every bit, always to try to keep you ahead of the curve. That's all you've got. You got to be able to read the signs. You got to be able to do it. You got to be able to connect the dots. And in this society that makes you pay attention only to headlines, we're in trouble. One of the ways I try to fight this is get this information to you. And if you are not already scrambling as fast as you can, do not feel doomed. You're only doomed if, in fact, you stay and buy into their program. And I'm trying to set you free. They're going to try to force people. They're going to do it whether you like it or not. You think it's convenient? We're going to eat bugs. We're going to do this. Here he's saying, we're going to need 1 billion vaccines next year. How'd he know? It all follows a plan. My job is to make you the smartest patriot in the room and to teach you how to spot these things ahead of time. Truly, because it's all coming. You just got to understand, it is all coming. It is what they do. It is how it works. Every move I make's predicated on this. It's also why I do Set Me Free, Please. You're going to have to protect your income because we are under attack. You've got to understand, can you protect your income? Can you still get the products you need for your family? And by the way, you should start working now. Maybe Trump can delay this a bit, but imagine if you could set yourself free from the system. I want to set yourself free, but you can keep on putting it off. Oh, I don't do that. All you want. Everybody's going to be in the same boat. I just want you to look ahead. I just want you to be prepared. We're in trouble. And by the way, thank every one of you for making the Food Forest Bible, a #1 bestseller. Please remember, there has now started a gray market copying my book because it is setting people free, and more are coming. There's a big gray market. Please make sure you got the right book, my name on the front, because they're trying to undermine this the most they can. And I was so devastated to hear one of you, oh, I'm so excited I got your book, but mine came without photos. Well, it's because it wasn't my book. It was a clone. Do not get caught by this, folks. Start now. 3 things you can do. 3 things you can do. #1, you've got to start planning your exit. Now, planning your exit means, can I replace my income in a broken system in a place where they're not going to make me get the shot like they did last time? Can I set myself free? Can I replace my income? Can I go get my own little farm or whatever can do? We give you a plan to do that. If you're willing to work your ass off, setmefreeplease.com. But sitting around is not going to have it. So we've given you that plan to escape. If you truly want to escape, nothing comes easy. Nothing comes free. Do you want to do it? Can you buy my book from me? No, you cannot buy it from me. It's on Amazon. And if you think a 1-book purchase on Amazon is going to feed the beast, you're wrong. You're going to get it fast. You're going to get it efficient. Think of it as using the system to get it fast. You're not supporting Amazon. You're supporting me. But as a publisher, when we want to do this high-end work, Amazon bought up all the companies. We can't get around it. We can't get around it. It's just like I told you on social media. I'm not going to do Facebook it. You think they care about the 8-cent commission they made on when you left Facebook and you went into whatever? Period. So don't worry that it's Amazon. Don't let that stop in the way. So I gave you that. I gave you the ability to work with your vegetables. I gave you the ability to work with your household products. I gave you the ability to work with your beef products, etc. I'm working my ass off to give you a plan, but I can't make you follow the plan. But please don't get deceived by gray market books trying to play like they're me. I love every one of you. Share this program. It's such a critical program. All of this was current stuff happening right now. We were all worried about the election and other stuff. Look what they did underneath. I love you all. Please share this.
Would you ever eat government vaccines? Feed your family hormones or antibiotics? Never ever do that to your family. So why buy beef the same way you've always bought beef? You're buying meat glue bonded, hormone filled, antibiotic riddled grocery store meat. Say no to supermarket medicated Franken meats and say hello to nevereverbeef.club. Always 100% USDA prime or high choice. That's restaurant grade. Never ever is not ever just select beef or even standard or ungraded store branded meat. It's simply the very best cut and tasting steak you have ever had. We have never ever given our herd hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never ever. Pure blood genetics. We've raised our herds this way for over 30 generations. They simply have never ever had antibiotics, hormones, or killer vaccines. Grass-fed the way nature intended, in almost 500,000 acres of high pasture environments. Finished off with non-modified feed crops we grow ourselves. We even own our own 210,000 square foot processing plant. And as an added bonus for our nevereverbeef.club members, we age our steaks in our state-of-the-art 780,000 cubic foot aging facility. Only top restaurants do that, so they can charge you $100 or more for a little bitty steak. We age our meat because we want you to have the very best restaurant quality USDA prime or high choice, pure blood, purebred beef at a price your family can afford in these financially challenging times. Sure, you can keep paying the price for supermarket cheap, standard, and ungraded store meat brands if you love feeding your family Frankenmeat. So never ever settle for less. Join our Never Ever Beef Club. Take control of your health and your family food supply right now. Join Never Ever Beef Club. We are real people with real families just like you. So we personally customize your order right over the phone. Now that's customer service. And there is absolutely no obligation when we call. You decide what bundle is best for your needs. No hormones, antibiotics, or even mRNA vaccines. Never had them and never ever will. Never ever cut corners on your food supply or family's health. Join Never Ever Beef Club now.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.